Alibaba, the big Chinese tech stock, earnings out Thursday before the bell. Historically, a lot of price noise around that event, swings in either direction, so be careful, but that can present opportunity. Now, the ride for Alibaba over the last year or so has been very bumpy, and of late it has been pretty negative, but there are some shoots of positivity. Rumours of Chinese interaction or intervention into the tech sector, which could see stocks like Alibaba benefit quite a bit, so adding in some potential upside. The analysts like the stock a lot. So where is it heading next? I'm going to have a look at the charts, a few fundamental factors to come up with some ideas, trade ideas for you, and some potential price targets. So with that, let's take a look at that analysis. So let's start with some fundamentals for Alibaba, and I'm in wallstreetodds.com, a great data cruncher for stocks, and produces some interesting statistics and ways of presenting the data. But I'm in Alibaba, like I said, and we're in the overview tab, and I want to draw your attention to the analyst ratings. 21 of them, 20 of them have Alibaba as a buy, and more interestingly, from our current price, take that average of those analyst ratings, there's still a 97.2% upside, so some encouraging signs, and if they're right, that's a nice return waiting to be had. Now we head into the earnings tab. It's going to show us what historically has happened around earnings release day. As we know, we can see there Thursday 17th before the market opens. So what's historically happened? Well, you've got a range between -11 and +14% on the day, and over the week after, again ranging between -15 to nearly +19%. And over the last few ranges, you can see it's been a bit of a mixed bag. Some better than expected over the last 3 quarters, a couple of bad ones, but most normally better than expected. But that doesn't necessarily mean a positive return. There's other factors at play in there. So that's a quick look at the fundamentals. Let's dig into those charts now. So the charts, we've got a 4-line break chart here, and throwing this one in here for possible reversal entry points. Now today's open saw a good rise in the price of Alibaba, going through my first level around $79, and then the next upside according to this chart about $87. So if you are bullish, some potential target numbers for you to get in there. So if we head into the RENKO chart, it's got a long-term view on the left, short-term on the right-hand side. If we focus on the long-term first, we can see that big decline in the price, way down, pulling back to lows around about $60. You see at the moment all the signals are bearish in the longer term, and really seriously got to get through this almost double top pattern before we can start getting exciting, which seems a long way off, around about $120. So if we focus in on the short term price action over here on the right, again trend is bearish, but the shorter term signals looking a bit more positive, especially because of today's open, where we've seen it push back in to where it broke from those lows previously. If it fails here, then it's really back down to that low in the sort of 57, 55 area, and then really into the danger area. Could be anywhere down to, I think, probably even 25 sort of dollars in there. Upsides, we've got to get through $100, where there's a lot of noise playing out, and then it's 130 to 140 when we're starting to break highs, and then back into, like I say, 180, 190 dollars. But that at the moment seems a long way off. We've got that short-term trend. It's been, I'd say, probably flat to weak at the moment. So weak bearish, but a slightly better looking technical picture at the moment compared to that longer term downtrend. And well, let's now take a quick look at some trade ideas around Alibaba. So I'm in the broker first trade options wizard where you can put together scenarios. Now we've got bar ticker loaded up, and just going to throw a few ideas out there for you. Now, first one's a straddle. If we're not sure which way that's going, we can see there's a lot of noise around earnings, plus minus 10-15%. So that could come into play. And this first strategy you can see here, and I've kept the expiry short just for the costs and the idea of the play. It's going to be expensive. One of each is going to be about $1,260, but if that price starts to move, we start playing around with the numbers, it's can produce a seriously decent return. Let's just say it gets it to one of our sort of targets around the 130 that we talked about, and the charts 300% return. Very nice. And that brings me on to my second strategy, which is buying a call. I've gone for the April 2023 expiry to give it that time to work and keep it cheap. And again, if it went up to that price, 305% return, so a very nice trade. But if you are bearish, that last option there is an income generating trade, $146. It's selling the 90 call, buying the 100 to create that income. So if you're a bit bearish still, but you don't think it's going to have the volatility around the price, then maybe with that weak neutral bearish point of view, then that could be a trade idea to net some dollar into your pocket. So there's some ideas. So let's go on to the score for Alibaba at the moment. So if we're going purely on the technical analysis, it's not a great picture. It's improving in the short term, as you can see up in the top left there. Weak bearish to neutral at best. Longer term, very bearish. If you are bullish, full line break chart throwing up a couple of numbers there, $79, $87 for you. Now focusing on the targets, upside 2.81 to 1 and 5.94 to 1, downsides 2.36 and 3.43 to 1. So very good in either direction. So that might make that straddle position we talked about a bit more attractive. But overall, based purely on the technical analysis, at the moment it's a weak bearish position despite today's good price action. But I think it's a lot more than just the technicals at the moment. For me, I think you're going to have to factor in some sort of government, Chinese government interaction, sort of intervention into the tech sector there. It hasn't been doing very well of late, and I think really to get their economy off and flying again, we might see, like I say, some input from there. And if that happens, then Alibaba could be one of the beneficiaries of that process. Now that makes it hard one to trade. We've got the technicals telling us it's down, or at least very weak, and there's some sniff of a fundamental change which could really spark a lot of those stocks off up and running once more. So it's an interesting stage we're in at the moment. I'd love to hear your thoughts in those comments below. Where do you think Alibaba and those other Chinese tech stocks are heading next? Now if you want to learn more about the RENKO charts that I've used in this video, then I'm going to pass you right the way through to a really great video to get you all up and running and using RENKO charts in your trading right now.